Hello everyone. I just want to explain about African spirituality ways of practice based on people's tribe and culture. Firstly, African spirituality, we have one principle, one spiritual principle. Okay, like your personal spirit guide, your ancestral spirit guide, water appeasement, and ancestor, how to connect to your ancestor, how to connect to the supreme gods. One principle, your age mate, all those things are one principle. We all follow one principle. Okay, we all have one goal. But how to achieve those goals, how to maintain relationship with those goals, how to do appeasement, how to do spiritual work differs based on our location, what is available in our location, based on what our spirit guides have taught us. There is no one way or one rule to practice African spirituality. But the principle, the goal is the same. So it's what is in your location that you're going to use to do your spiritual practices, to connect to your spirit guide, to connect to your ancestors, to do your offerings and sacrifices. And your neighbors, they want to achieve the same goal, okay? But they will use something that is available in their own location, how their culture does it, how their tribe does it, There is not just one way. Your own cultural way, your own traditional way, your tribal way is not the only way. Because some people always think that anyone that is not practicing the same way that they are practicing is fake. Forgetting that there are many ways to practice spirituality, many ways to connect to God, many ways to connect to angels and divine spirit, many ways to do spiritual appeasement, many ways to do sacrifices and rituals, many ways. It's not just one way. Even look at your culture. In your country there are many tribes. Many tribes in your culture. If you check the way they do things, it's not exactly the same way your culture they do your own thing. There are some things in your culture that is forbidden, and some things in your neighboring your neighbors, their culture, that is not forbidden. Like in African spirituality, there are some cultures that they forbid women to do some things without the assistance of a man. Why some other culture and tribe they allow women to do almost everything unless they are under their menstrual period. You see? And those rules that was given, especially those ones that they say women cannot do this, women cannot do this, is man-made rules. So okay, to confirm, you do divination to find out this rule that is placed on women, especially because it's always women that they place those rules on. Is it the gods that said that, or is it a man-made rule? Then Because if other tribe and culture can allow women to do that, it's only your culture that does not allow. There is something wrong. Because after all, it's the same African spirituality we are connecting to. The only difference in this African spirituality is the territorial spirit. The territorial spirit are the spirits, the deities, the divine spirits or angels in our location that controls the land, that controls the water, that controls those territory. But all of them are working under the supreme gods. Okay? The same supreme God. We all have the same supreme God. So when you see other people practicing African spirituality that does not align exactly like your own cultural way, don't just start judging and thinking that it's fake. And when you're coming boldly to condemn other people's practices, the best way to say it is, in my culture, this is forbidden. In my culture, women are not allowed to do this. In my culture, we don't practice it this way. Because in other people's culture, I'm sure they're probably doing something different than what you people do. And someone that is very spiritual, that knows all this, and when you speak, they will know immediately that you need education to expand your knowledge. Because you don't know that it's possible. Some things that you don't know, that they have taught you, your ancestors have taught you, or people that you have learned from have taught you. You don't know, you have not experienced it. So you should actually confirm those things through divination. Because your mentor depends on what you're going to learn, how you're going to learn things. Yeah? So African spirituality is not just one way of connecting to gods. There is no one way to connecting to deities or angels or practicing. We all have different ways. My culture, my tribe is different from yours. So what we do in my tribe and in my culture is going to be different. But we have one concept, one principle, one goal. Like if I want to do water appeasement, the way I will do it is going to be different from the way you do water appeasement, but we are all doing water appeasement. And the spirits are accepting it. What I will use to do water appeasement is going to be what is in my location, in my country. And what is you're going to use for your water appeasement is going to be what is in your location, your country. Yeah, that is how the spirits taught everyone. For example, this red kola nut that we use to pray, and alligator pepper and all this white calabash, you know, some people don't have access to that, but they are connecting to God in their own way, based on how they are taught by their ancestors or their mentors, what they have been practicing in their tribe. So there is no one way of practicing, because I see some people always fight over rules and regulation that they don't know about. And some women will be condemning other people like that are practicing things in their culture that is forbidden, without even knowing if that person you're condemning, if they have the same tribe as you. Africa is so big. In every country in Africa, there are many tribes. This is how we differ also when it comes to our cultural practices. And those our cultural practices also, you know, they impart our spiritual practices. The food, when we are giving food to ancestors, the food that we give to my ancestors is not going to be the food that you give to your ancestors. Why? Because I'm going to give what is in my location, what is available to me. And you are going to give what is in your location, what is available to you. But your ancestors, they will enjoy it because they are used to those foods. The same with spirit. Yeah. So yeah, the way we practice African spirituality, you know, it's different. But one goal. If I want to do spiritual cleansing now, the herbs and roots that I will use to do my spiritual cleansing is going to be different from what you use, because I'm going to use the herbs and roots in my location that does, you know, cleansing, that removes negative energy. And those herbs and roots, you probably don't know it because you are not in my location. And the ones that you use in your location will be different from mine. But we are all trying to achieve one goal. It's cleansing. Yeah. And if you go to other countries that connect to nature, that connect to God, in the pagan way, in the Western world, in different countries, you see that they will practice, you know, spirituality without animal sacrifices, but they are connecting to spirits, and they are getting good results. So everyone is different. Like when you go to the Asian, like the Hindus, these people are very powerful, but they don't do animal sacrifices anymore. But some people will say the only food spirit we eat is animal sacrifices. No, spirits they drink alcohol, you know, soft drink, wine. They eat food. In fact, they love eating food so much. You have no idea how much spirit appreciate eating food. I have never seen any spirit that comes and tells me, you know, how he loves, you know, the animal sacrifice. That is just to give them energy. But spirit will always come and say, oh, I love this food. And they will so be thankful. Even some spirits, when I give them food, they will come and pay me just to tell me that they are very happy. They will pay with gold or with those cars. Because people don't understand how important this food we eat physically, how they appreciate it, especially our ancestors that have eaten food before they passed to the afterlife. Because sometimes when I'm telling people to cook food for the ancestors, some people say, this is not how we practice African spirituality, because we must give animal sacrifice. This is the only food that they eat. No. Anyway, that is how you are taught, but that is not the only way. So anyway, we have one principle, one goal, but different ways, you know, to get to that goal. It's like a tree. We have a big tree. On that tree, you know, we have branches, but they are all connecting to the vein of the tree, the body of the tree, but different branches. Those branches are different ways of practicing spiritualities. And we'll practice it based on how our ancestors, our mentor, our cultural ways, or our spirit guide have taught us. Okay? There is no one way. There are many ways to connect to God.